Hi, this is Deepak. How are you? I'm now in my office at the Chopra Center and happy to return to our daily conversations. And I would like to start out by saying that henceforth I will be doing 1 to 2 of these live videos. And the reason is that I'm going to be traveling, doing a world tour on my new book, The Healing Self, a revolutionary new plan to supercharge your immunity and stay well for life, co-authored with Rudy Tanzi. And it's going to be a very hectic schedule. So I'll be traveling almost every day to a different city. And I'll do my best to do these live videos. However, I think I'll be able to provide better content to all of you if I cut them down to once or twice a week. So that's the plan. And today I want to speak to you about a very important aspect of healing. A lot of material is in the book, The Healing Self. The book is out January 30th, but you can pre-order it now at a very significant discount on Amazon and other online stores. So you would help me if you did pre-order the book today or whenever. And anyway, so much for promoting my book. So one of the aspects of the healing self is, thank you, Allison says, Allison Walker, plenty of fun at Jayo. Thank you. And remember, you can download the app, Jayo. You can go to jayo.com and also share your story when you go to my story. Ramanan Dikshit, welcome. Good to see you here. Okay, let me continue with what I had planned to talk about today. Part of the healing self is healing the mirror of relationship. So I want to explain this very, very carefully because healing through relationship is the ultimate healing. And I'll explain why that is the case. Why the healing self is really tied to the mirror of relationship. So let's talk about that. Okay? Let's talk about that. Let's start with the first principle is that the separate self is an illusion. The separate self is a human construct, a socially induced hallucination. The separate self does not exist. That's the first principle of the Four Noble Truths of the Buddha. But now let's look at this in a very careful, systematic manner. Okay? Until you see a tooth in a mirror, or unless you bite something, or you see somebody else's teeth, there is no knowledge of that which we call a tooth. Unless you see your eyes in a mirror, or you see the eyes of another person, there is no knowledge that there is such a thing as eyes. Eyes are known through seeing. Teeth are known through biting into food. The brain does not feel pain if you cut a knife through it. You take a knife and you go through the brain, it doesn't feel any pain. But if you pinch me here, then the brain records the pain here. So the brain knows of its existence through the experience of pain that is here. Very interesting, right? The brain does not know itself. The teeth do not know themselves. And the eyes do not know themselves except through relationship. Now look at my fingers. The finger cannot know itself, but it can know itself by feeling my thumb or feeling another finger. And I can actually play tricks with my mind if I ask now, is my finger feeling the thumb or the thumb feeling the finger? And it's just a switch in my own interpretation. Finger feeling the thumb, thumb feeling the finger. So the finger can only know itself by feeling other things, whether it's a book or a table or other fingers or a hand or a face. See how clear this is. I hope that you can know yourself only by creating the concept of otherness. You can know yourself only by creating the concept of otherness. The brain does not feel pain. The finger does not know itself. The eyes do not know themselves. The fingers do not know themselves. Only in relationship to that which we call the other. Look at your own body. It's made of organs, liver, spleen, kidney, gut. But these organs do not exist by themselves. These organs, whether it's liver, kidney, spleen, your toes, your fingernails, your eyes, your heart, your spleen, your immune system, they do not exist by themselves. They are part of the relationship of organs that we call the human body. Human constructs, but still trying to understand. Okay, so that which we call the body is the relationship of that which we call organs. And that which we call organs are the relationships of tissues, and that which we call tissues are the relationships of molecules, proteins, fats, carbohydrates. And that which we call molecules or biomolecules is the relationship of atoms. And that which we call atoms is the relationship of particles. And that which we call particles is the relationship of force fields, like strong and weak interactions, electromagnetism. And that which we call force fields are the relationships of probability waves. And that which we call probability waves are the relationship of nothing to nothing. They are the relationship of the formless to the formless, which then appears as form. So, we exist only as relationship. We exist only as relationship. And when we have traumatic relationships and when we have dysfunctional relationships, that disrupts the equilibrium that we call homeostasis. All human constructs, but we have to speak, so we have to communicate. And that causes inflammation, another construct, and that causes dis-ease, and ultimately that causes dis-ease. By healing the mirror of relationships, we heal the self. That's why I'm calling this the healing self, because the healing self ultimately is is the healing of relationship through everything, our relationship with food, our relationship with that which we call the environment, our relationship with family and friends, our relationship in our social interactions, our relationship with our professional colleagues, and ultimately our relationship with that which we call the human universe, because the human universe itself is an experience in consciousness. Okay, so here we are. The key to ultimate healing is the healing of relationship. The key to ultimate healing is relationship. How do we start? Okay, this is how we start. Everything I've explained so far, go back to it please and listen to it or watch it, because it was a preamble to what I am about to tell you, which is a simple principle. Look around you right now. Think of your immediate environment, but all your other environments in which you find yourself, whether it's nature or your workplace. You have a relationship to that environment. You couldn't exist without that environment. We call the trees part of nature, but in one way they are your lungs. If the trees didn't breathe, you wouldn't breathe. We call the earth part of the environment, but in another way, it's your body. It recycles as your biology. We call the oceans and the rivers and the pools and the puddles water, but in one way, it is recycling as your circulation. We call this atmosphere the breath, or we should call it, because it's not the atmosphere. While it is the atmosphere, it's also your breath. You can't live without it. So all the environment that you find yourself in is a relationship of you and otherness, or that which we call otherness, but without that otherness, you wouldn't exist. Similarly, as a body-mind, you exist only in relationship to other body-minds. These days people are talking about something called interpersonal neurobiology. So let me explain that to you. I'm interacting with you, even though it's through the internet or whatever. I'm interacting with you, and you're actually interacting with me, because I'm seeing all your likes and all your comments. So we're interacting with each other right now. Ramanand Dixit, Nazima Patel, Helena Christina, Mirjana Dominic, Alan Walker, Ramanand Dixit. We're all interacting right now. And all of you, others, that which we call the other, the concept of otherness. So we right now are existing in relationship, and that relationship is in a shared mind, it's in a shared consciousness, but it's also in a shared brain, because you're using your brain right now to interact with my brain. And whatever is happening in my brain is being recorded in the rest of my body, and whatever is being recorded in your brain is being expressed in your body. So our body minds are in relationship with each other's body minds, biologically. If I said something mean right now to you, or sent you a nasty comment, or you sent me a nasty comment, then we could affect each other's adrenaline levels, cortisol levels, and ultimately help destroy each other's immune system, or mess up each other's brain. So Right now we're doing it through the internet, believe it or not. So not only we are interconnected through the global brain that we call the internet, but our individual brains are interconnected. I hope you understand that. Our individual minds are interconnected. Our individual biologies are interconnected. If I say something nice to you and I say perhaps that I really love you, and you say that and we mean it, then we can give each other a dopamine hit right now. Okay, we can change each other's neurochemistry, serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, opiates. We can actually give each other neurochemical boosts just through our interaction right now. Okay? So, in the deeper reality, we are one consciousness. In the deeper reality, we are one body. In the deeper reality, we are one mind. And in the deeper reality, we are one biology. And losing sight of this and thinking of ourselves as isolated, skin-encapsulated egos, dragging a bag of flesh and bones, and squeezing ourselves into the volume of a body. Rob says, love you. I love you too, Rob. Squeezing ourselves, our identity, into the volume of a body in the span of a lifetime, we literally suffocate ourselves. And we literally localize our existence to that which is ephemeral, temporary, localized, soon to disintegrate, evanescent, gone with the wind. Literally gone with the wind. So healing relationship is also the healing self. Healing relationship is also the self. When my friend Michael Shermer spoke about heavens on earth and basically debunked the afterlife in his very eloquent scientific manner, he was speaking from the perspective of the local self that doesn't exist. Okay? If you can liberate yourself from the local into the interconnected nature of existence, in the interbeing of existence, as Thich Nhat Hanh says, we are interbeings that inter-arise in the inter-isness. Then you will also liberate yourself from the constructs of birth, death, universe, God, and everything that is based on a me and the rest of the world notion. Doesn't exist. Okay? That which I call me or I is the interconnected activity of the whole. Interconnected activity of the whole. There is no localized, ego encapsulated body-mind squeezed into the volume of a body in the span of a lifetime. So once you liberate yourself, then the concepts of birth and death lose all meaning. The real self is never born and never dies. Only experience is born. Every moment, a sensation, an image, a thought, a perception. Where is it born? In the interconnected self. What does it die to in the interconnected self? So what is the experience of the interconnected self? The experience of the interconnected self is love. The experience of the interconnected self is compassion. The experience of the interconnected self is empathy. The experience of the interconnected self is equanimity or peace. The experience of the interconnected self is loss of the fear of death. Because death happens to an experience and not to you. I hope this is clear. I don't know why this is not clear to a lot of people who call this pseudoscience and call it all kinds of things, but I mean, this should be very clear to you. Now, what are the practical steps? The practical steps are emotionally focus only on love, compassion, joy, equanimity. And the other practical step is to look around you, look at your situations, circumstances, events, relationships, encounters, the people in your life, and please know that they are a reflection of your separate self, period. They are a reflection of your conditioned self, period. And if you don't like what's happening to you, then follow the advice of the author of the Easy, the Easy Steps to Enlightenment, I forget, it was published over 40 years ago. But if you don't like what's happening around you, in any situation, encounter, relationship, environment, ask yourself, what am I doing in a state of consciousness where this is real? Okay, number one. Or number two or three, don't remember now. Next step, understand that those you like and those that you dislike are both mirrors of yourself. Those that you like have qualities that you have in yourself but you want more of, so you hang around those people. And there's those that you dislike have qualities that you dislike in yourself, that you deny in yourself. So every relationship has something to teach us. If the relationship is toxic, well, it's telling you something. The qualities that you notice in the other which so disgust you, they're also in you to some extent. And by accepting that, you begin to heal that relationship. Because you stop judging the others when you stop judging yourself. And when you stop judging yourself, you stop judging others. The qualities that you like in other people, you also have, so you want to have more of that relationship, and you elevate your relationship by creating these qualities and nurturing these qualities in each other. Those that we love, those that annoy us, including Trump, are mirrors of ourself. We can use this principle in any relationship to food. People who have eating disorders have a dysfunctional relationship with food. Simple. Okay, we can use this with anything else. People say, I was born in very poor circumstances, in violence, in an environment that was very toxic. So I am unfortunate. Well, that is definitely a thing to consider. That, some of us find ourselves in beautiful environments, and some of us find ourselves in impoverished environments. And when I say environments, it is also environments that include a culture of terror and abuse. And so the conditioned self that finds itself in that environment can only relate to that experience. But once we bring awareness to this idea, then many things can happen. That conditioned self can be elevated through understanding and deeper knowledge, so that that conditioned self doesn't have the ideology of war and terror, or the framework of poverty consciousness. But then there is more to do. Those of us who are in better circumstances, where our conditioning was influenced by nurturing environments, then we have an obligation to help those in those environments that reflect the extreme impoverishment of the conditioned mind. So when you heal yourself, you start to begin to heal the world. You heal yourself by healing the world as well. They're interconnected. Love can only be shown by those who have been the receivers and the givers of love. And peace can only be brought about by those who are peaceful. You can get a Nobel Prize in peace, but it doesn't guarantee that you are at peace. So, once again, healing relationships is the key to the healing self. There's more, of course, and as I mentioned, I'm not going to be coming on every day now, maybe twice a week, but we'll keep interacting with you, because I understand that my neurobiology is influenced by your neurobiology and vice versa. Thank you. Have a splendid day. Ramanand Dikshit, all the way from India, says, I love you. I've gotten to love you too through these interactions, and I'm very grateful that we are on the healing journey together. Okay. Thank you, and see you tomorrow.